For more on this, let's bring in a member of the Senate Finance and Judiciary Committees, Tennessee Senator Marsha Blackburn. Marsha, good to see you, and thanks for joining us.
Good to see you.
So
yes.
as John Kirby said, it seems like all roads run through Iran when we're talking terrorism. And so I wonder, where are we with refreezing the $6 billion? Where are we with trying to enforce our sanctions on on Iranian sales of oil to places like China? Where are we at on this?
Well, we are still at the starting point as far as the Biden administration is concerned, because they have said they've got a quiet agreement to freeze the $6 billion. I keep pushing, and as you know, led the letter with 20 of my Senate colleagues to call on them to formally freeze this money so Iran never gets a penny of that money. I think we should send that money to Israel to pay for damage. We also have to put the sanctions back on Iran on the oil sales. When Donald Trump was president, he drove that yearly revenue that Iran made from oil down from $53 billion a year. That's what they were making. He drove it down to $12.7 billion. And now, under Joe Biden, because he does not put the sanctions in place, does not enforce them, they're making $1 billion a week selling oil, and as you said, primarily to China. So we need the administration to get busy and put these sanctions in place, freeze that money, and stop taking actions that embolden Iran.
Senator, to several people today about this. They're oil experts, and they said if we did that as a nation, it would anger China. That's another problem. They pointed out that tanker traffic, there's been no oil supply disruption of tanker traffic coming out of Iran. So even since the terror attacks on those innocent Israelis, not one barrel has been disrupted so far. But if Joe Biden wanted to do something, all this administration would have to do is simply say, we're opening federal lands for leasing where oil actually exists, Gulf of Mexico, New Mexico, just come out and say that, and the price of oil would fall.
You're exactly right about that. And Dagan, what we do know with this $52 billion Iran is making this year, they put money into terrorism. They're the world's largest state sponsor of terror. And we also know that they're developing and trying to develop nuclear warheads, and they're enriching uranium. So that's what they do with their money. If we were to open up that land, just as you're talking about, on federal lands, get back into the Gulf, go back to exploring and giving these leases and permits so that companies here could actually supply the oil that not only do we need it, but our allies need it, then they're not going to be buying Russian oil. They're not going to be buying Iranian oil, which is what we desperately need to stop. And you're right about China. China is stockpiling oil right now. They're the biggest customer that Iran has. So, and we know China, Russia, Iran, North Korea, there's your axis of evil. They do not wish us well. They are not frenemies. They're not competitors. They are adversaries and enemies. And stop taking decisions that help them all make money, and they spend that money to fight us.
As Joe Biden depletes our strategic oil reserve, China is stockpiling oil. And to your point, you're right.
Yeah.
Donald Trump was actually enforcing sanctions and was pumping oil, so prices were lower, putting the crimp on Iran, the exact opposite under Joe Biden. But I want to move to this because, Senator, your colleague from Pennsylvania, John Fetterman, offered up a rather concise response to a memo circulated by Ohio Senator, your colleague, J.D. Vance, that the president's newest joint package to Israel and Ukraine, that it should be broken up. So as Fetterman said so eloquently, he put it, F that. What's your take on linking these two packages together, Ukraine and Israel, or should they be separated? What's your viewpoint?
Oh, it should be separate.
Yes.
These are separate issues. And when you talk about what is needed for the border. And definitely we need to secure that border because of the individuals that are on the terrorist watch list that are pouring across the border. 30 Iranians this month, 35 Pakistanis, 100 Russians, 2,000 Chinese. That funding needs to be discussed separately. Ukraine needs to have their funding discussed separately. We desperately need some transparency there. We need to look at that humanitarian aid package. And then, of course, Israel should be considered separately. It is a different issue. And we know that Israel needs certain things. As I say, if it sails, if it shoots, if it flies, if it spies, and Israel needs it, we need to get it to them right now. They have been very specific in their needs. And Sean, we should take an action on that. We also want to be sure that humanitarian aid is not going through the UN, because we are fully aware that the UN Relief and Works Agency for Palestinian Refugees is hiring people affiliated with Hamas, and we know Hamas has been intercepting the aid that is going into Gaza. So let's not send aid into Gaza. So separate these. Let's take the time, buckle down, get through these aid packages, and review it and be certain that we're doing the right thing with taxpayer money.
Just a quick follow-up. Senator,
Sure.
should the U.S. be funding this aid package to Israel? We're $33 trillion in debt. Should Israel actually buy this from the United States? We should provide the armaments and the technology, but shouldn't Israel buy that from us when we're so far in debt, or should we just gift it to Israel? What's your take?
No, Israel buys weaponry from us, and then we also have helped them in developing the Iron Dome and David Sling. And they also have a laser system.
We give $3 billion a year, which I supported, and so did you. But beyond that, should we be gifting the $20, $25 billion to help them fight the war?
Israel does a lot to purchase, and they have been active purchasers of U.S. Military equipment and armaments.
Senator, you're backing new legislation that would rescind federal education funds from institutions that, quote, peddle anti-Semitism or authorize, fund, or facilitate events that promote violent anti-Semitism. Listen to playwright, famed American Pulitzer Prize-winning playwright David Mamet, who had this to say on America's Newsroom earlier today. Watch this.
Thanksgiving's coming up. When your kids come home from college, don't send them back. Stop funding anti-Semitic hatred and calling it, oh, it's a good place to meet people. Because for a Jew to send his or her son or daughter to these elite institutions because they're going to make connections is the same thing as putting their daughter in a brothel because they're going to meet powerful men there.
It's not just Jewish Americans, it's all Americans.
Yes, Dagan, you're exactly right on that. And of course, as you said, we do have the legislation and the push to block funding, federal funds, to these schools that are allowing these anti-Semitic activities and pushing this forward. These professors that have come out, I'm telling you, there is no reason for them to get one penny of taxpayer dollar. And I think it is so interesting, and I'm sure you have followed so many high-dollar donors to these universities have shut their checkbooks and have told them no more money. They've got to clean up their act, and they've got to get in behind some of these professors that are spouting this pro-Hamas, pro-terrorism. Can you even imagine this? They are pro a terrorist organization. And that's not something that is up for debate. The U.S. has recognized Hamas as a terrorist organization. We know Iran puts about $100 million a year into Hamas. They are one of their terrorist proxies. They do the same for Hezbollah, for ISIS Syria, ISIS Iraq, the Houthis in Yemen, the Islamic Revolutionary Guard. They are the funders on this. So stop letting Iran get money and then hold these universities to account that are out here spouting all of this support for these terrorist activities.
It's great legislation, Senator. Hopefully you'll get some traction with your Democrat colleagues. We appreciate all your hard work, and thanks for joining us on The Bottom Line. Marsha Blackburn, Senator from Tennessee, thank you.
Thank you, Sean.
Thank you, Senator.